Good day, everyone. This is Piney Needles, and welcome to DDO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in DDO and here at DDO Players. And please welcome my co-host from Ravenloft, Draculetta.
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
Everything's going okay here, and how is things up in Ravenloft?
It was good until I just erased that bit from the show notes. Silly
Oops.
me. Good
Well,
job. There is an undo button. Thank you, Google, for including an undo button. I appreciate it.
You wish you could use an undo button whenever your players roll a crit while fighting Strahd, right?
Indeed, yes. That would be handy to have. Hey, maybe that's a new house rule I'll have. Any crit you get against Strahd, you automatically have to re-roll it. I like it, Piley. I like it a lot.
All right. So much for giving him evil GMing ideas.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's go into what we have for tomorrow, Tuesday, May 10th. DDO servers will be coming down for Update 31, Gnome Work.
We are getting Update 31, which I can't believe it's going to be here already. It wasn't on the money very long, but that's okay. There's going to be 3 new quests, and these are going to be free-to-play quests. They are Search and Rescue, Memoirs of an Illusionary Larcener, say that a couple times fast, and Good Intentions. Also, the Fighter Kensei tree revamp will be included, but Cordovan did put a little caveat on the downtime post today that he said 2 of the enhancements are going to be added later, most likely in the next patch. That is the former Drunken Master, which they are going to rename that to something else, and the Opportunity Attack. So that will not be included on the Fighter Kensei update. So if you play with those on Lamania, you're going to have to wait just a little while longer until the next patch to see those on live.
All right. Then let's head into the pre-video preview that the devs held for Update 31. And did they release any exciting news in there?
There was quite a bit of stuff in here. They took, as they usually do when they have preview videos, they showed off the Fighter Kensei tree, and then they showed off some of the new quests. They were keeping it spoiler-free, so they didn't show a lot of the new stuff. But you got a feel for what it's going to be like. And then, of course, they were taking questions and answers from the audience, as they do. There was some things that was gleaned out of here. The first thing is about Kenneth crafting. Everybody wants to know when the crafting update is coming, and I will just let Severlin explain this as he did on the video. I pulled the audio out of the video.
So probably one of the first questions, let's go scroll back to the top, that I know has been asked by a whole bunch of people today, and that would be, what's up with Kenneth crafting?
So Kenneth Crafting, we're looking at doing it for the next update. One of the issues that we're running into is we've revamped random loot, so even if you have good loot, random loot is potentially interesting. You have a reason to look into the chests. And when we first announced Kenneth Crafting, a lot of the players expected Kenneth Crafting to make even better than random loot. But if we did that, then all of the work on random loot that we did would essentially be undone. So what we're looking at Kenneth now is we want Kenneth to be valuable to the players to make great loot, but not necessarily as good as the best stuff you can get from random loot. And so we're going to need a lot of feedback from the players on how best to do that so that Kenneth feels like it's worth your time without making it better than the best of random loot, because otherwise you have no reason to look into the chests anymore, other than just Kenneth fodder for deconstructing. And so that's the ongoing concern and challenge that we have in doing Kenneth. So, but we will be talking to the players about that because we'd like to get it in for the next update.
So there you go. It is going to be pushed off till Update 32. So we'll see what's going to become of that.
Yeah. All right. So that's the concern then, is that they don't want the crafting loot to be the very best in the game because it makes everything else obsolete.
Which, that does make sense because there's some people that do not like the new random loot system, and I will admit there are some strange things that happen on the random loot system at times.
You mean like like Vorpal clubs.
Yeah, your Vorpal
Especially
clubs,
since I'm using a Vorpal quarterstaff right now on my Warlock.
longbows of assassination, stuff like that. But hey, it happens, I guess. But overall, I think it's and everybody knows my feeling on crafting. I'm not into the crafting system at all. Sorry, Alyssa. I see Alyssa's in the chat room. I'm sure she's like just screaming at me right now.
Yes, but it's wonderful.
But I think they have some valid reasons why they're pushing it off, and I would want to see them actually make it the best they can be the first time around, instead of releasing something that is semi broken and then having to just keep putting patches to it to like fix it to make it better. So I know people are really wanting the crafting update, and it sounds like they're wanting to make it the best they can make it, so I guess we just have to wait a little while longer. And speaking of crafting, a question was asked in the update video about new augments. Are there any new augments coming? And the devs responded with, they do want to finish the back-end augment work that began with Legendary Green Steel. And that is going to need to include to put into a code a way to convert any old augments into new augments. And that is also going to pull out some recipes from the current Cannith crafting system, and they said that should help improve some performance. So they're looking at some new augments, but they want to shore up the new Legendary Green Steel crafting augment system and crafting system first, and then they'll work on getting us some new augments. Also, it was brought up about favor rewards for PDKs. That's the big one everybody is talking about. And the dev said they do know that they owe people some favor rewards. They're coming, but there's no ETA on them as of yet.
For PDKs?
Purple Death Knight, Dragon Knight.
Oh, those guys.
Death Knight. Where did that come from? Purple Dragon Knights. Yeah, there you can hit like your favorite caps with them, and usually when you hit a favorite cap, you get some type of reward. With the Dragon Knights, you do not.
Oh.
And so that is coming at some point in the future. Stay tuned, as they say. Then the other big thing that was asked several times is can you do anything with the reincarnation bank? Because it is just a mess when people reincarnate several times. Your bank gets jumbled up. And the dev said that could impact load times, so they're not really looking into doing anything with that. And they did state that that was never really intended to be used as a bank anyway. And
what do you mean? I don't understand what they're talking about when they're talking about reincarnation bank. Then it's something not intended to be a bank.
Well, players call it the reincarnation bank. It's I forgot the official name of it is the reincarnation cache. And what happens is when you get ready to reincarnate, all of your items go into that cache, and then you reincarnate, and then you can pull items out of there as you need them.
Right.
But players are kind of treating it as another bank space.
Oh,
and that was
people are abusing it then.
Well, abuse is a little bit strong term for it, but it's not. A lot of players are not using it in the way that it was intended. We'll put it that way. And so, and the devs are just worried if they would, actually go in and make changes to that could impact load times and maybe hurt the lag, as I know they're trying to improve that, not add to more lag or add to more, load times. So they're just not looking into doing anything with that. So it sounds like people that have a bunch of stuff in that cache are just going to have to put up with the way the system works now. They didn't rule out that they would never do anything with that. It's just not on any future plans right now.
All right.
And then a couple questions were asked if there's going to be new Epic Destinies, and they say they would like to touch and balance the existing ones before adding any new Epic Destinies in. Then again, they didn't rule it out, just no future plans. They did mention they would love to do something with Sonics in the future, but that is just too big of a project to tackle and would require a lot of dev time, so that's just not in the cards right now either.
Yeah. And concerning Psionics, the question is what's going to make it unique enough in order for it to have a place in the game.
Exactly. And I think they're going to have a hard time implementing them. I mean, I would like to see them because that would give DDO more of a pen and paper feel because you would actually have these psionics to play with. But that's going to be hard for them to put in, I think.
Yeah, especially if they added psionic combat.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah, that would be really tough to do. And I'm also thinking about the equivalent of psionics to summoning, where you will these constructs that you create, the astral constructs, that's what they were called.
Okay, yeah.
And I remember that was one of my favorite things in order to play around with when I was doing psionics, is because you could create this astral construct and you could give it just about any attributes that you wanted. I mean, it just doesn't sound like it'll fit well in DDO.
Yeah, that would be really tough to fit in.
Yeah,
so.
it would be tough to do, and if you did it so that it's as flexible as the player needs and they could interface with it quickly, I could very see it being overly powerful very quickly.
They definitely have their work cut out for them.
Yeah.
With stuff like that, so we'll see. And then a few more things that I kind of thought was interesting out of the update preview, and we will link this in the show notes. You can go ahead and over to YouTube and watch the full video, because there was more stuff that was talked about that I didn't pull out. But of interest to maybe you, Piney, they said they would like to scale pets a little better on the Artificer. So they, at some point in the future, they're going to take a look at that and see what they can do about that.
All right.
Figured that would make you go, yes. And then the final thing is clerics. They would like to add domains, and that would help them differentiate the cleric from the favorite soul just a little bit, and also give the clerics a little bit of a boost. But once again, that is in the future. No specific time frame on when that'll happen. And they know a lot of players have been asking about cleric domains. It's on their list, and they'll get to it when they can.
When they can.
So that was the big things I pulled out of the preview video. As I said, we will link the YouTube video in the show notes, so you can go over and give it a watch and check out all the cool stuff that's coming with 31. And here's some of the other questions and answers that were given during the preview.
All right, then. What about the latest in lag and game performance?
Could have been posted just this afternoon, actually. This past weekend, they had an above normal amount of poor game performance, and that is something they are definitely looking into. They are continuing to look into the various reported causes of lag, including renown gain. They would like to caution people that the Defiler of the Just has issues that are outside of the server-client latency problems, and that is not a good test case for lag. They do fully understand people's frustration in the Defiler of the Just raid, and they will be considering some options to do to that particular raid in the future. So that's the latest on the game improvement updates, and you can go, we will link that in the show notes as well, and you can add anything that you were experiencing game. They still want people to post what character you were on, your class, what raid or quest you were in, the time of the day, how much your lag was, if you were having rubber banding, such as that, because they are still trying to work on the old lag monster that's have been plaguing us lately.
All right. So therefore, when we get to a point where all the reports are for the Defiler of the Just, it means that they
have done their job well then, I suppose.
Except, of course, they still have to fix Defiler of the Just, but that's another matter. Let's head into DDO Chronicle issue 189.
And we have a Cobalt.
And that's, oh boy, Cobalt Celebration, it looks like.
Because remember, finally,
Cobalt still hates you!
Never forget, finally. Never.
Well, because Kobolds never do.
That's right. Oh, and I don't have that one ready to play. See, if I would have thought about it ahead of time, I would have had that one ready to play. And as soon as you said that, the Cobalt would have said that. But see, that was a fail on my part.
Ooh, well.
In the Chronicle this week, the Community Spotlight, the DDO Character Planner, has been updated. So make sure you check out the latest version of the Character Planner. And I must admit, I have never used that. I think I am going to plan a character and actually use this and create it one time just to see. I've checked the character planner out. I played with it a little bit, but I've actually hasn't used it seriously to actually, plan out a character. So I will have to do that.
Maybe I should use the character planner in order to see if I could create the perfect character for the Misery Peaks challenge.
There you go. That's right.
Yeah.
Though I think you could probably plan that out without actually using the character planner, but that's a different matter, I guess.
Okay.
Also in the community spotlight, the DDO Splat. They are now on the DDO stream, so congratulations to Patrick and the crew for getting over on the official stream. And of course, if you're not familiar with what DDO Splat is, that is Patrick from DDO Cast and several other people. Let's see, Lessa, Chai, I can't remember. Why am I drawing a blank on everybody else that's in there? I apologize to anybody else that plays in that I can't remember right now. They play Permadeath, sort of, kind of, and that's on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m., and that is on the official DDO channel now. And I say it's Permadeath, sort of, because as I told Patrick just on Saturday, that is the zergiest permadeath I have ever seen in my life.
Zergiest?
That's all you need to know. It's total zerg, and see if we can't get each other killed. So it's permadeath light is what I'll say. But it is a fun time. It is a great show to watch. So be sure to check that out. And congratulations to them, as I said, for being a part of the official DDO stream channel now.
What are the Shady Rogues have finally made it into the temple?
They have. And
Ooh,
you have to watch that video. It is hilarious.
Okay, I'm going to have to bookmark it so that I can.
Yeah, it's one of the, and I think I've said this before, but this time I really do mean it. It's one of the best Shady Rogue videos ever yet. Just do yourself a favor. Watch the Shady Rogues taking on the Temple of Elemental Evil. Definitely worth your time. Also in the fansite news section, DDO Cast, the latest episode is up, and they are talking about the different bracers you can find in the game. DDO Cocktail is out with a brand new episode where they take some advice, so let's check that out. Jeff over at DDO Gamer is taking a look at Update 31. And also over on DDO Gamer, a player by the name of Stephen Powell is playing DDO, but he's doing it tabletop style. So
Tabletop style?
Check that out and to see how that worked out for him. Even Note heads into the Tower of Despair, and our unofficial stalker, which we have not heard from in a while, so I guess he's not stalking us anymore. Enrique brings a time bomb to a city full of minotaurs. Click over and see what happened there. And that is it for our Chronicle, other than our Chronicle comment of the week. And that is, what is your favorite thing about the gnome?
Favorite thing about the gnome?
And not just Gnomegeddon, Pinely.
Gnomes are coming. They're coming for you.
Oh, you gotta have
Okay.
something you like about the gnome, Pinely. Have I stumped you, Pinely?
Well, I'm trying to. It's hard for me to come up with a favorite for any of the races, so therefore.
Brack Barefeet in the chat is saying they're big gnome noses.
I was wondering if it was going to be the +2 intelligence.
That's a viable answer.
Especially if you play an artificer.
Yes, that would come in very handy. My answer to the Chronicle comment this week about my favorite thing about the gnome is just the beards, man. It's all about the beards.
Oh, aren't you playing a female gnome?
That's besides the point. I always play a female character, but then again, that's besides the point. I actually do have one male gnome that has a pretty sweet looking beard. We're talking ZZ Top epic beards, finally, which you probably don't know who ZZ Top is. I probably just totally.
I have heard of them mildly.
Okay.
But I didn't know they were associated with beards.
Yes, and yeah, Brack Barefeet is saying yes. Gnomish ZZ Top. So there you go. Maximus Flame is saying he forgot about the int bonus on the gnomes. You see, so there you go. See, Pine Leaf, you reminded somebody about the int bonus. So You have done your job, sir.
All right. And Tori watches over Giant Hold in the screenshot of the week.
Everybody likes the wings screenshots.
Apparently so.
It's all about the wings.
Oh, so that's why some people play favored souls instead of clerics then?
Indeed, because they want wings.
They want wings.
But see, all they would have to do is drink a Red Bull, because Red Bull gives you wings.
Yeah.
Somebody out there's laughing. I know they are.
Yeah.
I got one laugh. I know I got one laugh somewhere.
All right, let's head into the store sales.
This week, the free sample of the week is a Greater Remove Negative Level Potion. Use the coupon code you can find on our show notes. You get 1 per account. 25% off this week's Epic Destinies, the Tomes of Fate, the Key of Destiny, the Fast Travel, and the Select Epic Adventure Packs. And also, for those that wish to part with a lot of DDO points, the auto boxes are back for a limited time, and that is through May 12th. So the McRib of DDO is back, finally.
Let's head into From the Dungeon, where vigilantes and intrigue comes to the Pathfinder RPG.
This was tested extensively by thousands of Pathfinder players. Those are 2 hard words to say together for some reason.
Pathfinder players?
Fine, just show me up. See how you are? Paizo has actually released the Ultimate Intrigue. What this is a 256-page hardcover rulebook to add a new player class to your Pathfinder game, and that is the Vigilante. Ultimate Intrigue delves into the shadows where charm, grace, innuendo, and insults may be more powerful than a sharp sword or a spell. You do get endless possibilities for your adventures when you dig into this 256-page book. It's available on Amazon or over on the Paizo web store, which I have linked to both in the article. You may also find it in your local friendly neighborhood game store.
All right, so this is turning Pathfinder into a superheroes game?
Sort of. It's adding, you will have that option. That's one of the options you can have. It's giving you a little more ways to play with, say, like a thief type character. You can do some different magic, and you can do some, I can't think of the word I'm looking for. But you do get a mask, and on the cover it does look like it's a superhero. And I kind of read through the sample PDF of it, and it looks like if you wanted to create a quote-unquote superhero character, you could do it with the rules out of this book. I mean, you wouldn't have, quote-unquote superhero powers, but you could put enough of the new skills to where you could act like a superhero, I guess, if you wanted to.
Well, let's face it, not all superheroes have superhero powers. I mean, Batman, for example.
That is very true. Yes, that is the perfect example of that. When in doubt, spend money and buy some cool tech.
Yes. Or in the case of the world of Pathfinder, cool magic.
Exactly. So yes, check this out. As I said, it's available on the Paizo web store, or you can get it from Amazon.
Very well, then let's head on to the tabletop, where they have announced the hall map for Gen Con 2016. And is there anything particularly exciting about this year's map that's other than Paizo and Mayfair having their nice big corners?
Besides the fact the news broke the same day that the exhibit hall map came out, there are going to be 518 exhibitors this year. And that is a 26% increase from from last year's Gen Con. It's huge. You can see that if you've ever been to Gen Con, you know that the dealer hall was huge in years past. Imagine that 26% bigger, and also it's kind of bleeding over into Lucas Oil Stadium now too. So it's going to be insane.
And then because I presume they're in the same building for the exhibit hall?
Yes, they are.
then how are they going to fit it into the same room if it's 26%?
What they did is they took the section where Magic the Gathering was normally played. That is now moved over to Lucas Oil Stadium.
Ah.
So vendors are taking over that section. There is another section, which I cannot think off the top of my head right now what it was. They've moved that to a different hotel, into one of the grand ballrooms in one of the adjacent hotels. So the exhibitors are taking over that section as well. So it's insane. And it's basically a who's who. You can look on this list and you can name a game company, and I guarantee you they're going to have a booth at Gen Con because it's going to be huge. And there is 86 days till Gen Con, not that anybody's counting. And we will be, of course, covering Gen Con again this year, and hopefully we're going to do more coverage. I have plans finally for Gen Con this year.
You have plans.
We'll see how well it works out, but I have plans.
Uh-oh.
So we'll see.
Beware.
And Gen Con kicks off August 4th in Indianapolis.
Then let's head to the Dice Tower, who has announced the Dice Tower Gaming Awards for 2015, or at least the nominees for them.
And now, these awards, I have played a lot of the games on the list, so it makes me feel better, because you remember a couple weeks ago we were talking about the Origin? Yeah, the Origin Awards.
Right.
And we were like, never played that.
But
this one, okay, I can say I've played several of these games, so.
All right.
My geek credibility is back, I guess.
Okay.
Up for Best Board Game Components is Blood Rage, Cthulhu Wars, Star Wars Armada, Flick 'em Up, and Forbidden Stars.
Sorry, I haven't played any of those.
Out of that group, Blood Rage. Definitely, Blood Rage is awesome, especially if you like Vikings.
Ah, okay, it's the Viking game. Then I might have seen a demo of it or something like that at some point.
Yeah, Blood Rage is awesome. The best co-op games is The Grizzled, Mysterium, Pandemic Legacy, Time Stories, and XCOM, the board game.
The one I'm most familiar with is Pandemic Legacy.
And
with the Dice Tower, because I know a lot of people at the Dice Tower like Pandemic Legacy, so...
And family games is Codenames, Flick 'em Up, Lanterns, The Harvest Festival, Mysterium, and New York 1901.
Okay, I've seen a few demos of those, but I haven't actually played any of them.
Only one I played was Lanterns, and I played that last year at Gen Con.
Okay. All right. Best game artwork for Above and Below. Okay. Ashes, Rise of the Phoenix Born. The Grizzled. Now, the Grizzled, I thought that was sort of a pencil style artwork in that one. Let's see.
I do believe it is.
Yes. Mysterium. And of course, Mysterium, the entire point of it is the artwork and the impressions it gives you, and Time Stories. So I have seen demos, I think, of all of them except for Time Stories.
I'm trying to think. I'm pretty sure. I can't say that I played Grizzled, but I think I watched a demo, like a live demo. It wasn't like on YouTube. And I'm thinking that was last year at Gen Con too.
All right.
And of course, the big one is Game of the Year. That is Seven Wonders Duel, Blood Rage, Codenames, Elysium, The Gallerist, Mysterium, Pandemic Legacy, Time Stores, The Voyages of Marco Polo, and Roll for the Galaxy.
All right. Now, I have played Roll for the Galaxy and Pandemic Legacy, and those are the ones I'm most familiar with of those two.
I'm telling you, Blood Rage for that too. Blood Rage is awesome. Blood Rage should win everything, in my humble opinion. And there is several more categories where you can go over to the post on the site and read those.
Oh, you skipped? I know what your favorite is for Best Game Reprint.
Let's see. We have El Grande Bixbox, Fury of Dracula, the 3rd edition, Mission Red Planet, Stronghold, the 2nd edition, and Through the Ages, A New Story of Civilization. And I'm going to say, out of that category, it's got to be Mission Red Planet, right?
Come on.
Oh, I just pulled the ultimate troll on you finally.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
Of course, everybody knows I went Fury of Dracula.
Right.
So yes, and these awards will be given out later on this summer. When is it? In July at the Dice Tower Convention.
Right. Yeah, at Dice Tower Convention in July. And then let's head into Big Trouble in Little China and The Crow. Fire it up, coming up from Upper Deck.
Upper Deck is wasting no time pumping out games based on their legendary deck building system. The way they designed that.
That's a legendary game?
Yes. Yep. That's the way they designed it. They can pretty much pump any IP or any game type into that, and it will work. So yes, there are 2 new ones on the horizon. Of course, based off of the classic cult movie, Big Trouble in Little China, which I do believe last week, I don't think it was on the air, I think it was before we started recording, we were discussing Big Trouble in Little China, and that is yet another movie you have never seen, Pinely.
Right.
I don't know, Pinely. I don't know what to say about that. But the play for this is going to be much the same as the other legendary games. You will be able to play characters from the movies, such as Jack Burton, Gracie Law, Wang Chi, and even the Pork Chop Express. The set will be a standalone course set, and it'll include everything that you need to play. 350 cards, a full-color play mat, a foam core card sorter. Talking is very hard for me tonight. Inserts that will fit into your box. Legendary Big Trouble in Little China is designed for 1 to 5 players and is designed to play in under an hour. Manufacturer's retail price on that is going to be $49.99. Will be available in August, which happens to be a Gen Con. That's when they're going to launch that.
All right. I had thought that they're also coming up with a legendary for Firefly.
They are. That is releasing a Gen Con as well.
Oh, okay.
And yet another legendary game is going to be The Crow, Fire It Up. That, of course, is based off the Crow movies. Not much is known about this game yet, other than just a little short blurb. They talked about it over in the press release I got on this. They say The Crow, Fire It Up is set on Devil's Night in the Motor City. Players will play as Eric Draven as he dishes out the revenge against the Motor City gang that took his life and the life of his fiancée, Shelley, the night before their wedding day just 1 year prior. Eric Draven will use the help of Officer Albright, Sarah, and the mysterious Crow to track down the gang. Opposing players will play as the Motor City Gang, and they will consist of Tintin, Funboy, T-Bird, Grange, Mayeka, and Top Dollar. And they try to spread fires throughout the Motor City and take out Eric in the process. And that, too, will be available at Gen Con.
I am still surprised, though, that there's not yet an announcement for a legendary Heroes of Faerun or something like that. Or
yeah, you would think that would be their next move, but they are pumping these legendary games out. And as I said, the way Upper Deck designed it, it can work with almost any IP that you want to pop into it. So,
as long as it's compatible with some sort of a mastermind scheme or something like that.
So I guess, they had some forward thinking there because they were designing it to where, they could just pop these other games out. So you would think you would see some type of Faerun, or maybe they got to do a D&D one.
Yeah, I think it's begging for one.
Well, yeah, they have to. So we'll see. Upper Deck, get on that.
How about legendary Temple of Elemental Evil?
Hey, there you go. How about legendary Tomb of Horrors?
You have to have some chance of surviving.
You're too nice, finally.
And that's right. I'm too nice to play a game like Cash and Guns and be able to blow up reasonably.
Cash and Guns is awesome. Have never played Cash and Guns, finally?
That's right.
Oh, Cash and Guns is awesome. We play it with my friends all the time when we have game night. That is our ultimate screw-over game. If you're not familiar with Cash and Guns, what it boils down to is you are trying to collect the most money, and you are all mob gang. Well, I guess it's not really gang, just mob members. And one person is the godfather every round. And what you do is you have foam guns, and the mob boss will count down 3, 2, 1, and then everybody points a gun at somebody. And then if you're the mob boss Godfather, if, let's say, somebody's pointing a gun at you, you can tell them that gun that's pointing at me, point at this person. Or you can tell say somebody's pointing at one of the other people at the table, you can say, don't point it at him, point it at him, and so have you. So it's really not a teamed-based game at all. Well, that's going to change with this upcoming expansion. The Team Spirit expansion is going to turn it into a team game, which, with my friends, that will never work. But we'll see. At least one other person at the table is going to truly have your back, and you will truly have theirs. With 3 or 4 different criminal factions fighting for the loot, there's now room for a 9th player to jump into the action. And there's also new characters, surprises, and, of course, new guns that you can integrate into your games of Cash and Guns.
All right.
So, yeah.
Somehow I don't think... I have a feeling that they'll never work as a co-op, though.
Well, yeah, no. This whole team thing ain't going to work with a group of my friends either. But as my friend just said the other day, he sent we have a group text that we do throughout the week, and we were talking about some other game or something, and somebody said something about, that's a good co-op game. And he said, we can turn any game into a how can we screw over each other game.
Oh, I could just imagine them trying to do that in Pandemic.
Have we ever played Pandemic? I don't think we have, but I can only imagine at the hilarity that would ensue to that. Because when we play Dead of Winter, it gets downright vile and vicious.
Well, yes, but since that's a hidden role game, I could just imagine you guys trying to play Shadows over Camelot. Or
Yep.
Battlestar Galactica. Now, that would be really backstabby.
We would find a way to screw each other over, trust me.
Yeah.
Even if it's not in the rules of the game, we still find a way. That's just how we roll.
All right.
So look for this new expansion to Cash and Guns coming later in the summer. No specific date is listed, so we will keep you updated.
All right, then let's head into our week in DDO. And Drac, what were you up to?
I did a little bit. Didn't do a lot, but my Warlock is still sitting at level 11, and this is over on Cannith. I'm still out in the Sands of Menectrium. I did the Chamber of Karash on hard, and the Chamber of Ramat on hard as well. And I love those quests because it's just so fun to go into those tombs. It just feels like a good dungeon crawl. So the Sands is one of my favorite areas in DDO anyway. So those quests just put it off. Probably this week I'm going to do Trial by Fire and Offering of Blood, and I'll do the Wiz King tomb, I think. That's my plan for this week at least. So we'll see what happens there. Then my Rogue is sitting at level 6. And that is the one I'm running with my friend who was playing a wizard. We finished off Dalera's Tomb. We did the last quest that we needed to do for that, and that was the Thrall of the Necromancer. Finished that off, didn't have any problems. I did choose the Voice of the Master as my end reward, so now I have that. And then we stepped into the Temple of Elemental Evil. He has never been in the temple, in-game at least. So we hopped in and we did that. We didn't finish it because we kind of started the temple kind of late. And, the temple is not anything you can do fast. Well, I suppose you could. You could technically do a speed run of the temple if you wanted to, I guess. But
why? I don't know.
Yeah, I got to say, half the fun of the temple is just the dungeon crawl aspect of it. But so basically all we did in that is we got the club and went in, and I showed him the Earth Ellies and how you can use the club, and that's really all we did. So we have to go in and do all that over again, and then do the other wings and go face the boss at the end of the one. So that's what I did over on Cannith, other than what I did with you, which we'll let you talk about that over on Argadescent. My Ranger is still at level 4, and this, of course, is my Wilderness Adventure only character, still in the Cerulean Hills. I'm at 222 of 400 on the Slayers. Everything else is done. All the Explorers, all the Rares are done. The Rares took me forever because there was one I could never get.
Yeah, what else is new?
Yeah, stupid RNG. It would never pop for me, but I finally got it. So now I'm just going to finish out the Slayer, and then I'll move on. So still on the Wilderness-only challenge character, which is pretty fun so far.
All right, but you haven't leveled yet?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I'm thinking by the time I finish all the Slayers, I will be, because I want to say I'm on my third bubble now, so once I hit that final round of Slayers, I'm sure that will put me over and I'll be level 5, and then I don't know which area I'm going to move to next, but
all right.
We'll see. So that is really all I did this week. I was kind of busy outside of game, but what did we do in game, and then what were you up to with your Warlock that you're playing?
All right, then we'll go with my No Warlock first, which I played with you, and there we finished up the Sharn Syndicate, where we ran the Stormreaver Fresco, the Bookbinder Rescue, Repossession, then Come Out and Slay, which we did all on Elite since we're level 6. And I think that went pretty well on the most part. I mean, we even managed to keep those suicidal benders alive.
Right. The only problem we had was I had to get a Gold Seal Rogue.
Oh, yeah.
For Bookbinder, because I don't know what the CR is, or the DR, I mean, is on the, no, CR, I was right the first time, on the traps in there, but I could not even find the trap boxes. So apparently my level 6 rogue does not have a high enough spot to find those. So we had to employ the use of a Gold Seal Rogue to handle the traps in that quest for us, which kind of made me sad, but at least we got it finished and everything was okay. So that was the only problem that we had. But I have no idea what the CR on those traps are, because I have a pretty high spot and search, and I wasn't seeing jack.
Right, then we went to House Tarasco, where we ran Mira's Sleepless Nights and Dead Predators.
And I ask you, and you couldn't remember, was that the first time you have done those quests?
Well, I know I've done Mira's Sleepless Nights before. I think I've done that at least twice.
Okay. Because I couldn't remember, because when we started our other characters, we kind of jumped around a lot, so I couldn't remember how many of the House Tarasco stuff that we did.
Yeah, I think we might have actually done Mira's together. There's a possibility that's one of the 2 times I did it was with you, but I know I've done it at least once solo also. The first time I did it was solo. Dead Predators, I don't remember that one all that well, so it's possible that was the first time on that one. Then on my Warlock side, where I'm playing the Warlock with a different race each month, so that this being the start of May, I created an Elf Warlock and created it, and of course the first week is when I go into the temple, staying at the first dungeon level with the primary mission is to get money, since you don't get any money when you start at level 7. So therefore it's like, okay, what can I do? I went through there and was clearing out things fairly well, getting by our friendly neighborhood, Medusa and all our fun friends like that. And when I was going in there, I'm trying to think if this is the first time I actually had an upgradable item drop for me.
Really?
I can't remember one dropping before. It's possible one did, and they were just so totally forgetful or not appropriate to my character or something like that. This time there was a upgradable weapon that dropped that was, even the base one was an upgrade to what I had before. Then, of course, I looked at this and say, okay, now how many mushrooms do I need in order to up 200?
Welcome to the mushroom grind, my friend.
Yeah, well, I'm certainly not going to get 200 mushrooms in a month, so therefore, that's not going to happen.
Well, those are account shared. But I guess it doesn't matter because you're only playing these characters for a month, though, so... Unless you plan on keeping one of these characters around. Because then you could do that, because those mushrooms are account shared.
Okay, I guess that's one possibility but I think that would violate the rules of the character, so.
I forgot. You always have like these crazy rules for yourself.
Right. Now, perhaps they could all dump them into share for some character later on that doesn't care about such rules.
There you go.
All right, that's a possibility on the matter. But anyway, I managed to get there, get a quarter step upgrade, I believe it was. And the other thing that I had that was unusual there is I sort of got disoriented a little bit and wound up on the, let's say, the live side of the Gatling ballista room because lately I've been going through the backside.
Yeah,
But
gonna say
this- so I actually managed to take out the people on the Gatling ballista, and so therefore I managed to actually survive the encounter with it for the first time ever, I believe. Unfortunately, my cleric could not claim the same thing.
Oh,
In fact, probably the distraction of my cleric is the reason why I survived.
so you once again you use your cleric as a meat shield.
Yes, unfortunately, I decided, well, if I don't have my cleric, and I decided, okay, re-summoning the cleric or going to the red shrine would. I decided that was time to call it quits. I called it quits at that point and didn't finish the first level, but I did get enough money in order to go for my next foray next week to see if I could survive the entire temple. We'll see how long that lasts. But all right, so that's where I started on the elves. That was my second character, Drew there. We currently have 25 supporters on Patreon, and if you would like to help support DDO players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you'll find rewards, including a mention on the podcast of your choice, or even be a guest with us here on DDO Players News.
And who wouldn't want to be a guest on this awesome podcast?
And you could also contact us. You can send us emails. No one did so this week. To podcast@ddoplayers.com. You could also follow us at Twitter, the Players Alliance @Players Ally, DDO Players @DDO Players, Draculetta @Draculetta_72, Pineleaf @Pineleaf Needles. And you could also join our Steam group over at Steam. And the Players Alliance has 4 live shows. Every Monday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have DDO Players News. Every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Locho Players News. Every other Saturday after Locho Players News, we have Tales of the Free Folk. And on the last Friday of each month at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Locho Academy After School. So I suggest you get there a little bit early because occasionally we've been known to start a little bit early on that one. You can join us for our live shows at ddoplayers.com/live. And that is all for this week. This is Pineleaf Needles reminding you to quest responsibly.